Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started this evening. So welcome to the MOACAC presentation tonight. This is one of the virtual college exploration presentations by Southeast Missouri State. For our participants tonight, you can ask questions by using the Q&A button. You can type your questions to our speaker tonight, and then she'll be able to address those questions during her presentation. Participants, just so you know, your camera and microphones are off. So no one can hear you or see you, and that's why we need you to use the Q&A function to communicate. Also, we're wrapping up the Show Me My Future presentations, but if you want to try to jump into a few more this week, you can check out the rest of the schedule at www.moacac.org. And just one final reminder that tonight's session will be recorded and you will be able to access that on the Missouri ACAC website. So with that, I want to turn this over to Tamika Heron, our presenter for Southeast Missouri State. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and she'll take over.
Hello, and thank you. My name is Tamika Heron, and I am a two-time graduate of Southeast. And though I had the fortune of participating in the college prep program, there were still missteps along the way. So I am motivated by the desire to make the process easier for the next generation. My background includes college admissions, college access, which is retention and graduation, and career counseling, managing scholarships, and that was all prior to me accepting this current position. So you may know that around this time last year, Southeast introduced a new department, the Office of College Planning. This department's purpose is to assist counselors and help students and their families navigate the college planning process through school presentations along with individual and group meetings. As a result of the current pandemic, we moved all of these meetings and presentations online, making everything virtual. But I am pleased to announce something else that has come as a result of this virtual transition, which is this College Planning 101 course. College Planning 101 is a course designed to help you navigate your college planning process. We don't expect you to know everything, and in most cases, you don't even know what you don't know in order to find it out. So with this course, it takes the guesswork out of it. The course is comprised of a series of modules that cover the steps you need to take between now and the time you step on campus as a college freshman. The first module was going to be college access, where we talk about college selection. How do you narrow down your choices? What things do you look for? What's most important? Is it the academic program or the cost? Is it the location? Is staying in St. Louis a must for you, or are you trying to get as far away from here as you can? These are things, along with several other factors, you need to consider when choosing the place that essentially is going to be your home for the next 4 years. So to help you do this, in the course, I provide a college comparison worksheet you can use to create a profile for each school. Also within this module, we walk through components of the college application and discuss the importance of obtaining quality letters of recommendation and choosing who you use for references. We discuss the need for an all-inclusive resume and what details it should include. And finally, the essay, whether it's an essay for admissions or a scholarship application, there are tips to help ensure that yours stands out. Like I said, this was going to be the first module, but considering this is October and we all know what happens in October, right? The FAFSA opens up. So college finance is actually the first module. And this module covers different types of financial aid and terminology you'll likely come across. Financial aid resources, scholarship tips and deadlines, and finally, FAFSA completion. Other modules include preparing you for a productive meeting with your admissions representative, what things you should be asking, what things you should be listening for. There's also a module that solely focuses on applying for scholarships. One on understanding the financial aid offer letters, and how to make appropriate comparisons. There's a module that focuses on just being a first generation college student and all the things that comes along with that. And then finally, making the most out of your college experience. College Planning 101 is a self-paced course where you log in and work at it as time permits. You will have until the end of the school year, let's say around May 9th, to complete all of the modules. And based on your completion, your level of engagement, your GPA when you graduate from high school, you could be eligible for an award should you choose to attend Southeast. Because I love sharing this information, and we still have a lot of time left, as promised in the description, I will now give you a sample, just a teaser of the FAFSA presentation. So in one moment, I will share my screen so we can get that started. Okay. So again, this is just a sample of one of the modules that's in the College Planning 101 course. FAFSA completion, the free application for federal student aid. So the FAFSA gives you access to federal aid, state aid, institutional scholarships, private scholarships, and they can all be based on your EFC, expected family contribution, and your GPA. Now, also in this course, there's a section where we go over terminology. So if you didn't know what EFC is, or expected family contribution, that information will be explained within that portion of the course. And basically, the EFC, or expected family contribution, is what the federal government has decided your family can contribute towards your educational costs. I talk to families all the time who say they're not going to submit the FAFSA because of two main reasons. One, they don't think they'll qualify for anything. And two, they don't want to take out student loans. Well, let's go with the first one first. They won't qualify for anything. Last year, 28% of the families who did not submit the FAFSA were middle income and low income, which meant there's a great chance they would have qualified for the federal grants and scholarships. So do not disqualify yourself because you don't think you'll be eligible for anything. And with number two, they didn't want to take out student loans. If you don't submit the FAFSA, you definitely won't be considered for the scholarships and grants. It only tells you what you are eligible for. You do not have to accept the loans, but they will be there in case you need them. The FAFSA should be completed annually at www.fafsa.ed.gov. It opened on October 1st. And students are encouraged to apply by February 1st to be eligible for the most aid possible. These are some things you need to complete the FAFSA: your 2019 income tax forms, social security numbers for students and parents. You need to know your dependency status. There's some other things, and if you visit this website is so thorough with a lot of financial aid information, journeytocollege.mo.gov. If you visit there, they actually have a checklist of everything that you need to complete the FAFSA. Some tips when completing the FAFSA: you and at least one parent will need an FSA ID. You should keep a list of the challenge questions and answers. Typically, we will choose questions that we think we always know the answers to and we'll never forget. In my experience, there's a great chance that you may forget. Do not use your high school email, because you want to use an email that you will have access to for years to come, because this is an application that you will have to submit each year. And remember, the FSA ID is tied to your social security number, so don't lose it, don't forget it. You will use the same information every year as far as your FAFSA, your FSA ID, and your parents will also use that same information. If they decide to go to school, they'll use that same FSA ID. If you have younger siblings who are completing the FAFSA, the parent will also use that same FSA ID in order to sign their application. So make sure to keep this information and don't lose it. You can, if you happen to lose it or happen to forget it, you can reset it or request a new one, but it's a headache. And then you're timed out for 30 minutes for it to reset, and it's just a headache. So keep it the first time, file it away, create a FAFSA file where you have copies of everything, you have your challenge questions, your passwords, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so let's talk about a timeline. October, complete the FAFSA. Some of the funds are first come, first served. That's why it's encouraged to complete as early as possible. December is when you'll start seeing some of the priority deadlines, and this could be for early admission. It could be for some scholarships. At Southeast, we have a December 1st deadline for our President's Scholarship, and then it's also a priority deadline for admission. So make sure whatever schools you're looking at and you're interested in, make sure you're aware of those priority deadlines. In January, that's when scholarships open up on Scholarship Central. If you are not familiar with Scholarship Central, it is a scholarship match site where you go out, you complete a general application, and it matches you to scholarships that which you may be eligible to apply for. The great thing about this one is you're only competing with those students in the St. Louis, the greater St. Louis area. There are a few that are in other parts of Missouri, but most are the St. Louis area. So it's not a national search. You're not competing with students all over the country, only in this local area. When I talked about the module where it's only focused on applying for scholarships, you are walked through Scholarship Central. There's screenshots of everything you need to do along the way as far as setting up an account, applying for scholarships, and everything. So that is included within the modules in the College Planning 101 course. In February, the Access Missouri grant deadline is on the 1st. There are eligibility requirements for this. If you have your FAFSA on file by February 1st, and I believe the GPA requirement is either a 2.5 or 2.75, is escaping me right now. But if you meet eligibility requirements and your application is in by the 1st, you're guaranteed those funds. March, that is when you'll start to see financial aid offer letters coming out. The financial aid offer letter is the letter that the college sends you once you have applied, been accepted, and they put together your financial aid package. That package will include the cost of attendance to go there. It will include the loans you are eligible for, not that you have, you still have to accept or reject them. The loans that you're eligible for, scholarships, and grants. They don't all look the same. Depending on the college, some package you differently, some have loans on them that others don't. Certain colleges will give you certain scholarships that you can't use at other colleges. So it's very important to know what you're looking at and how to make that comparison. There is a module within that course which focuses on how to understand financial aid offer letters and make appropriate comparisons. Generally, they'll start coming out around March. Some may come out a little bit earlier, but around March is when they really start pushing those out, because they want you to start making decisions by May, which takes us to the last date on the timeline. That's when you want to start really narrowing down your decisions and letting colleges know whether you will attend or whether you won't. Now, you don't have to make the decision by that day, but colleges are going to want to know. You are going to want to have to start getting your housing in order. Many times there is a housing deposit that's required. Sometimes there's an orientation fee, and you don't want to pay out money to institutions if you don't plan to attend, but at the same time, you don't want to wait too long and then miss your opportunity for the room you want or the hall you want, and things like that. So this is just a really general timeline to follow. And more useful tips, just because I care so much. Correct FAFSA mistakes as soon as possible. It's very easy to do. Log back in, update what you need to update, save, and submit again. Easy peasy. On the FAFSA, you will see there are 10 slots where you can put the colleges you want your information to go to. If by chance there are 15 colleges you're considering, you can take out those first 10 that you put, add in those additional 5, hit submit, and whenever your application is updated, the information will still go to the first 10 as well as the new 5. So that's just something to keep in mind. If your parent or you are able to, use the IRS data retrieval tool. That will lessen the likelihood of being selected for verification. Verification, also something that's discussed within the modules, is basically the federal government, sometimes it's the institution, asking you to provide documentation to prove what you put on the financial aid application or the FAFSA was correct. If that information is being pulled directly from the IRS, you're less likely to be selected for verification. So use the IRS data retrieval tool when you can. If you have IRS questions, there's the number. If you have FAFSA questions, there's the number. So within this course, I try to give you as much information as possible. Just because, like I said, I was in a college prep program, and there were still missteps in my experience. And so even if, let's see, stop sharing. So even if you are getting information from your high school, your counselor, if you're in a college prep program, you just want to make sure that you have every opportunity possible to make sure you don't miss anything. If you are interested in signing up for the College Planning One-on-One course, you can do so by visiting the college planning page at cmo.edu/college planning, or you can just go to the Southeast website and search for college planning. There is a button for you to click to register. You'll receive an email confirming that you're registered, and from there, it'll take a couple days to create an account before you can begin working through the modules. Anytime throughout the course, I am available by phone, by email, or text. If it's easier or your parents would like to talk, we can even Zoom. I have a link to schedule a call or either a Zoom meeting with me within the course. And it's always in my email signature. But I am here to help prevent missteps. That's why this class was created. There's no charge for the class. You don't get college credit for the class, but it does help you to make sure you are doing what you need to be doing when you need to be doing it, to help ensure that you make a successful transition to college. So if you have questions about anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. It's never a bother. This is what I do. So if you have questions, I know you were supposed to put your questions in the Q&A, but if you have specific questions about the course, I can start to answer some of those now. Let's see, but I don't know if I can see them.
I think down at the bottom of the screen, Tamika, you can click on Q&A and
Yeah.
see the question.
Okay. And currently there are no questions. Either I did a really good job or a really bad job. I don't know. But typically before the pandemic, I would go in and I would talk with senior seminar classes about things you would need to do as a senior to help prepare you for college. I would talk with parents about what to expect during your student's senior year, what to expect as your student is transitioning or going through their freshman year. And I would also talk to juniors about what to expect during your senior year. There are a lot of things that start happening. You know, I think in my situation, though I was in the college prep program, what happened was during that spring semester, that's when everything's happening. You get senioritis, there's proms, and you know, I was an athlete, and so all of those things came into play. But as much as you don't want to miss that senior experience, you really have to buckle down and manage all of those things, because ultimately you're setting yourself up for the type of life that you're going to have, you know, going forward. So you want to make sure that you do everything possible to make sure that transition to college is smooth. And I do see a couple of questions. Let's see. Since I started high school, my parents have told me to do the college planning myself. Will there be people who can help me explore my options? If you're talking about, well, I'll say that with yes. That's what I do. As much as I would love for students to come to Southeast, I know it's not the best fit for everyone. And it is my goal for students to go to their best fit. So I help students look at their different options as far as colleges and help them make the decision that works best for them. But then also when it comes to finances, I know that's a big part of it. So we look at scholarships that different colleges are awarding. We look at funds that are available to students if you stay within state, as opposed to if you go out of state, private versus public. And so my position is really built to help provide that personal one-on-one support to help students through this process. So the answer to your question, yes. Let's see. Should we start the FAFSA now as a junior or wait till senior year this time? You want to submit it during your senior year, but it does not hurt to go out and look at it and get an idea about what's expected. There is a demo module. If you go to the FAFSA site, there is a demo that you can go through, and you can put in fake answers, and it'll take you through the process, so you'll see what to expect. So when you get ready to complete it, October of your senior year, then you'll be good to go. There shouldn't be any surprises if they don't change it again. They changed it, I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe last year or the year before. So, but there weren't any major changes, but wait until October of your senior year to complete it. But definitely go out and play around with it. You can go ahead and set up your FSA ID, become familiar with it, but definitely wait until October of your senior year to complete the FAFSA. Okay, and I think those are all of the questions right now. Let's see. I'm undecided on which college I want to attend. Should I go ahead and submit the FAFSA to all I'm interested in? Yes. Submitting the FAFSA and putting the college down does not commit you to a college. Applying and being accepted does not commit you to a college. Not until you start to attend classes. In some cases, you know, when you start to submit, some schools look at your commitment by putting down your housing deposit or paying your orientation fee and completing orientation. But not until you start attending classes are you really committed to that college. But definitely when it comes to the FAFSA, yes. Put down the colleges that you're interested in. And like I said in the presentation, if it's more than 10, wipe those out, put in the next set, and all of them will continue to update as needed. It does not commit you to a college, but what it does is it lets that college know that you're interested. And once you're accepted, they can start putting together those financial aid packages for you. And so when they start sending them out, you can have them and you can have them so you can compare. If cost, I did some research recently, and cost is the main factor in choosing a college. It's true today, and it was true 22 years ago when I decided to come to Southeast. And so when you put down that college on that FAFSA, when they start to create those financial aid packages, they will start to create one for you, and then you'll have those and you can compare them. And when you're looking at costs, you can figure out which one makes most sense based on where your family is financially. So yes, definitely and then also the earlier you have your FAFSA on file and that information is sent to the college, then you may be eligible for some of those scholarships, because we have some scholarships that require your FAFSA to be on file by certain dates. There's one that it needs to be on file by March 1. So if you don't file your FAFSA until April, then that automatically knocks you out of the running. So the earlier you have it on file and have the information sent to the college, the sooner they can create those financial aid packages for you. Okay. And I think it looks like that's it with the questions for now. Again, this course, it's evolved over time. Initially, it was still going to be online, but it was going to be a live session every Monday. But then, as a junior, as a senior, who wants another class? So that's why it's kind of been changed to where you can work through it at your leisure. There are worksheets you can complete, you can print, there are PowerPoints you can go through. There are other really useful handouts. So the list of the terminology is on there. Different grants that are available to you, the deadlines, the grant amounts. Like I said, I really tried to put as much information into this course as possible, but still, even with this course, I don't expect you to know everything. That's why I'm also available for comments or questions from students and from parents. So no more questions? Okay.
All right. Great. Well, thank you, Tamika, for joining MOACAC and the presentation tonight. So we thank you. Panelists, as you exit, there will be a short survey that you can complete, 4 questions. We'd appreciate it if you would do that. And then feel free to go to moacac.org to sign up for a few more presentations yet this week. Thank you, and everyone have a great evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.